Welcome back to the course on digital logic and computer architecture. Today we are going to discuss about binary number system and information representation. I think for sake of completeness, just I am going to give some idea about binary number system. I think all of you know about these binary number systems, so it will be simply some sort of recapping of this binary number system. Okay, so we are discussing about the digital system. Now, why we are looking into the binary number system? You just see here we are going to get this particular 4 component. Already we have discussed about Boolean algebra. Okay. We have talked about, we have not discussed anything about switching theory, but what I can say that this is switching theory falls under this particular digital logic, where basically you just see we are working with 0 and 1. That means we have to switch the signal from 0 to 1, and depending on the input signal we are going to the output signal. So, all those things comes under this switching signal that we are talking about AND gate, OR gate, NOT gate, and we are going to implement with the help of some switching circuit which is fall under this particular switching theory. Today we are going to talk about binary arithmetic. So, once we have all those things, then we can implement our circuit in using semiconductor technology, basically in silicon wafer. So, intersection of these particular 4 areas is going to give us this particular digital circuit. So, when we are going to discuss about digital circuit, we have to know, or we should have knowledge in this particular 4 domain, and it is an intersection part of those particular 4 domain. Okay. So, why we need binary arithmetics? So, from childhood we are learning about arithmetics. If I talk about 3 plus 5, immediately will say the answer is 8. So, our brains process it and does this. But when I am going to use computers, so this is nothing but the processor that we have inside our computer. This is a IC chip, integrated circuit chip. This is the processors. Here we are going to do it. So, in this particular case, we said that when I am going to add 3 plus 5, my processor won't understand that symbol 3 and 5. It always works on signals, electrical signals, and for our understanding, the electrical signal high is basically representing by 1 and electrical signal low is representing by 0. So, if I say 0 0 1 1, so I am having 4 signals and this is the combination we are giving, that means low low high high. So, from outside world I can say that this is the binary representation of a number and this number is equal to 5 or 3, this number is equal to 3. Similarly, if I give another combination 0 1 0 1, that means voltage low high, this combination is equivalent to our binary representation of the number 5. So, when I give this to input, we design the circuit in such a way that we are going to get output 1 0 0 0 0. So, this is nothing but the binary representation of 8. So, due to that reason, so we are only represent the 2 information, either voltage high and voltage low, and this can be always mapped to the binary number system with symbol 0 and symbol 1. So, that is why we need the binary arithmetic when we are going to discuss about digital system, or where we are going to discuss about the processor designs, computer, etc. So, this is already I have talked that it can, hardware can deal with only its binary digit. It is not even binary digit. Again, I emphasize that it only recognize some voltage level, high voltage and low voltage. And for our understanding, we said that high will be represented by 1 and 0 will be, or low voltage will be represented by 0. So, that means we must represent all numbers, integer, floating points, either it is positive or negative, by a binary digit which we call it is a bits. Bits is nothing but binary digit. On the other hand, we are processing information also set. Now, we are representing giving this particular presentation or using this PPT file to give my lectures. Here we are using those characters also, say can devise electronic circuits to perform arithmetic operation like add, subtract, multiply, etc. Again, all those characters have to be represented with the help of combination of binary digit. That means we are having an encoding of all those particular character, and here while going to display it, we just decode it and we represent this particular number here. Okay. So, this is the way you can see that we are going to use the binary number system to represent all information in our computer. All right. So, I think this is the number system. We talk about the decimal number system. We know if 41, how we are going to evaluate it, like 255, but in binary number system we use only 2 symbols. In case of decimal number system, we use 10 symbols. Okay, so this is the way that we can do. So it is basically, we say it is a base of the system. If base of the system is say R, or we say radix, then we need R different symbols. So in binary number system, the base is 2. So we need 2 symbols, and these 2 symbols are 0 and 1. And in our digital circuit, that 0 will be represented with the help of a low voltage, and 1 will be represented with the help of a high voltage. So if I consider this particular binary stream, binary numbers, then we know the calculation. Say this position is nothing but the 0th position, and this is the nth position. So it will go 0, 1, 2 like that. So 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1, 2 square, 2 cube, 2 to the power 4, 5, 6, 7, total 0 to 7, total 8 we are having. So ultimately we are going to get this is equivalent to 41. So the largest numbers will be your, if all are ones, then we say this is the 255, which is the largest number that can be represented with the help of 8 bits. Okay. And already I have mentioned that when we work with 8 bits together, generally I said this is a 1 byte of information. Okay. So when we work with a 1 byte of information, then this 255 in decimal is the largest number that we can represent. So here we are having 2 terms called MSB and LSB. LSB means least significant bit, and MSB most significant bit. So in this particular number, if I consider, then this position and 1 will be the LSB position, and this 0 is in the MSB position. Because if we work with this particular 8 bits, you just see here this position corresponds to 2 to the power 0. This is multiplication of only 1, and this position is 2 to the power 7, which is equivalent to 128. That means we say it is having more weightage than the other one. So we say this is the most significant bit, and this is the least significant bit. In number system also you can say most significant digit and least significant digit. So in case of 255, I will say this is the least significant digit position, this is the most significant digit position. Okay. So already we are saying that in decimal number system, we say this is 10 is the either base or radix, and in binary number system we say base is either 2. Okay. So this is in general, when we are so much accustomed with our binary number decimal number system, we write 75, then always we mean that we are talking about the decimal number system. That means this is 75 and base is 10. If we are going to work some other number system, then we have to specify it actually. So that this is the way that we specify it. So in this particular case, if I say 75 8, then we say that this is the number 75 with base or radix 8. That means it is a base 8 system, and such type of system is basically known as your octet system or octal. Okay. So this is equal to nothing but 7 into 8 to the power 1 plus 5 into 8 to the power 0. So 56 plus 5, which is equal to your 61. So that means if I say 75 in your octal decimal system, okay, so octal system, then the decimal equivalent is 65. So similarly, say this is your 10 decimal system 111, then we say 1101111 will be your equivalent number in your binary number system. or if I say 111, if it is in this binary number system, then 7 is in the equivalent in decimal number system. So, these are very simple and you might have already know all those issues. Now, we are having another number system which is known as your hexadecimal number system, and all of you know about it. When we talk about hexadecimal number system, it is having base 16. Now, when we work with a base 16 system or say radix 16 system, in that particular case we need 16 different symbols. You just see the number of symbols that required in a particular number system is equal to the base of this system. So, in your hexadecimal system, we use those digits 0 to 9, which are having usual meaning with our decimal number system. Along with that, we use 6 character A, B, C, D, E and F. And the decimal number equivalent of those symbols are A is equivalent to 10, B 11, C 12, D 13, E 14 and F 15. So, this is the way that we can think. Now, you just see the same example when we are having 1, 1, 1 in decimal number system, then this is the binary equivalent and this is in your 8-bit representation. Okay. So, now when we think about these things, that 8-bit representation of the binary number again can be represented in our hexadecimal number. So, in case of hexadecimal number, so this conversion is slightly simpler. I can give you like that. We can divide it into 2 parts, because to represent one hexadecimal numbers we need 4 bits of information, because 2 to the power 4 is equal to 16. We have to represent 16 different symbol. So, with the help of 4 bit we can represent one hexadecimal digit. So, this 4 bit is one hexadecimal digit and this is another hexadecimal digit. So, basically it is nothing but 6 F. F is for 15. So, it is base 16. Okay. So, this is the hexadecimal representation of our 111 in decimal number representation, and this is equivalent to 6 into 16 to the power 1 plus 15 into 16 to the power 0. That means 16 6 are 96 plus 15, which is equal to your 111. So, this is another number system, and when we are going to discuss about your binary number system or you say digital system, generally we represent the information in hexadecimal for a convenience only, but when we are going to work with this thing, it will always work with this binary system or say signals high and low. So, you see that generally sometimes you used to say that you are having 32-bit computers. Okay, that means we use 32 bits of information to represent some numbers or some information. So, if I am going to represent the numbers or represent any information, then I have to use some sort of bit stream, maybe of 32 bits. But instead of writing 32 bits, what will happen? 32 divided by 4, we are going to get 8. 8 4s are 32. That means, with the help of 8 different symbol, we can write it. So, this means 3 F 5 C 2 4 9 D. So, this is the this is the hexadecimal representation of some 32-bit information. Okay. So, and when I write in this particular way, then it is easy to visualize what signals or with what kind of information we are working. So, this 3 is basically nothing but 0 0 1 1, F is nothing but 1 1 1 1, 5 is nothing but 0 1 0 1, like that we can visualize it, that what kind of information or what kind of signals that we are giving to the circuit. So, for our convenience, we use this hexadecimal number system to represent our information and to work with the information when we discuss about digital system. So now, if we talk about number system, that the positive number system is fine. We are very simple. Say if I am saying if we are working with 8 bits or 1 bits, then what will happen? We are having total 256 combination, all zeros to all 1. In that particular case, we can represent number from 0 to 255. That means we worked with 0 to 255. Now here just observe these things. When we work with pen and paper, we do not have any restriction. We can with any number of digit and we can perform calculation with any number of digit. But when we are going to work with digital system or computer, always we are restricted by the configuration of the computer. So if I am going to work with an 8-bit machine or 8-bit digital system, then always I have to stick to this particular number only. It is maybe 0 to 255 or maybe something else, but we have to, our range is restricted and it depends on the number of bits that we are using. So, in case of 8 bits, we can use only 256 different combination and we are going to get this particular numbers. Maybe when we are going to work with positive number or natural numbers, that we can say that we can represent from 0 to 255. But when we talk about the integer, when we are coming to the negative numbers, then this 256 symbol have to is used to represent your positive number as well as negative number. So, I am having this 256, but range now in positive side it will be going to decrease, but in negative side it will be increase. That means, from some minus n to plus n we may represent. So, we cannot go up to 255 because some of the bit patterns have to be given for representing negative numbers. Now, how we are going to represent negative numbers? For that, we are having 3 different schemes. One is your sign magnitude, 1's complements and 2's complements. Okay. So, in case of 1's complement, basically what will happen here, one particular bit is reserved for indicating the sign, and generally that most significant bit is used to represent the sign, and we say that if it is 0, then we say it is a positive number, if it is 1, then we say it is a negative number. So, this is the example. So, this is your minus 18, so this is the sign bit, and plus 18, 0 is indicating plus, and this is nothing but the binary representation of the magnitude 18. So, it is called sign magnitude form. One bit is used to represent sign, second bit is used to represent your magnitude. So, in sign magnitude representation, again I say that we are restricted to an range. So, what is the range? If you use only 4 bits of information, one bit will go for indicating sign and second other 3 bits are going to represent the number. So, that is why if you say this is the timeline, basically here I am going to have the positive number, here I am going to have the negative number, but just see that we are having 2 representation of zeros. So, that is why we are going from minus 7 to plus 7. So, including 0 we are working with 15 different numbers, but with 4 bit of information we can represent 16 different binary representation. So, one is missing. What is that? That one is gone for representing these zeros. Basically, we are having 2 representation for positive 0 and negative 0. Maybe you can think this is one kind of disadvantage that we are having. So, now say for 4 bits number, my range is from minus 7 to plus 7 including 0, and we are having 2 representation of 0. Okay. So, here not utilizing a full potential because we can represent 16 different numbers, but we are using only 15 different number. So, here sign and magnitude bit should be differently treated in arithmetics. So, we need different logic circuit for addition and subtraction. We will see these things. Overflow is difficult to detect. Okay. 0 has 2 representation. Generally, signed integers are not used in modern computers. Now, currently we not use this particular representation to represent the negative numbers. So, this is some simple example, just addition. You can look at what is the emphasis. Basically, result sign bit is the same as the operator sign. If both the operators are having same sign, say these 2 are positive numbers, these 2 are negative numbers, then result is having positive and negative numbers. But if sign differs, say this is a positive number and this is a negative number. In that case, what is the sign of the result? Sign of the result is the nothing but the sign of the larger of these two numbers. Okay, so this is the way we have to handle. So to indicate the, to find out the sign, we have to have an additional circuitry to get this exact sign of our result. Okay, so this is the way that we have to design our circuit. So we have another two ways of representing our numbers, negative numbers. One is your 1's complement and second one is your 2's complement. Okay. So these are the two different ways of representing negative numbers apart from sign magnitude form. So here generally in most of the modern computer we use 2's complement. Now what is complement and how we are going to represent negative number, I am just going to give you a brief idea about it. So it says that subtraction are implemented by addition and 1's complement, still two representation of 0 over here. So this is the problem again we are having. Now what is 1's complements will give you some idea. Here you just see again these two representation is having the 0. Again we are having 7 numbers from +1 to +7 and -1 to -7. Okay. So for 4 bits number again we can, our range is having from -7 to +7 and we are having two different representation of 0. Now you just see that for positive representation, positive number, the bit pattern is same for sign magnitude and 1's complement form. But bit pattern in the negative numbers are different in sign magnitude and 1's complement form, because in sign magnitude this is -0 and this is your -7, but in case of your 1's complement this is the representation of -7 and this is the representation of -0. So basically when we talks about 1's complement, we may talk about the complements in all radix system. So if we are going to talk about the radixes R, so first of all we say that we talk about our that basic decimal number system where base is 10 and we are having 9 different symbols 0, 1 till 9. So what is now 9's complements over here? In binary number system we are talking about 1's complements and 2's complements. So in decimal number system we can talk about 9's complement. So what is this 9's complement basically? So what will happen here, I am going to take the largest number that we can represent. Now when we are talking about the largest number, at that time we specify the number of digit that we are going to use. Just consider a 3-digit number, say we work with maximum 3-digit number, then the maximum number that we can represent is your 999. Okay. Now consider any number, say I can consider 125. Okay, so this is a number, then we subtract the given number from this maximum possible number 999. So what I am going to get? This is 4. Nine minus 2 7, 9 minus 1 8. So 9's complement of 125 is your 874. Now you take this 9's complements 874, add it with the given number 125, then what we are going to get? 9 9 9. So we will get this maximum number. After that what will happen, what we do in this particular case? Okay, just I will stop here, I will explain the thing down. So similarly now once I talk about 1's complement number, it is the same way, say I am going to take 4 bits number, then what is the maximum number? In case of 4 bit, this is 1 1 1 1. Okay. Now you consider any number, say 1, say 0 1 0 1. Then we subtract it, then what I am going to get? 0 1 0 1. So we said this is the 1 complements of the given number. Now when I add up these two things, 0 1 0 1 0 1 1, then we are going to get 1 1 1 1. This is the maximum possible number. So this is the 1's complements. Basically we take the number and subtract the given number from the biggest number that can be represented with the help of this number system, then we will say this is the 1's complement. Now by looking into this pattern, you just see that if I am having 0 1 0 1, then 1's complement is your 1 0 1 0. Okay. Since we are having only 2 digit or 2 bits, sorry, 2 symbols in our binary number system. So here we can say that to get the 1's complement, what we can do, we simply flip the bits. If it is 0, then we put it 1, if it is 1, then put it 0. So 0 1 0 1 will become 1 0 1 0, and we say this is the 1's complements number. So in this particular case, in both the cases, what we say that if I add 1 to it, I add 1 to this particular result, then what I am going to get? 0 0 0 1 1000, and here also I am going to get 1 0 0 0 0. Now already said that when we talk about the complement system, we have to work with a particular fixed number of digits. So since we are talking about a 3 digit number, that means as a result we can consider only these 3 digits, that one we cannot consider. Similarly here also it is a 4 bit. So we worked with this particular 4 bit, and 1 we are not going to consider, or we do not have any provision to keep this particular one. So you just see that we are getting 0 after adding these two numbers, but along with that I have to add 1 more. So in this particular, since the result is 0, so we can use the concept that then 1 can be treated as a negation of the others. Okay. That means if you say that this is your 125, then 874 may be equivalent to your minus 125. This is the notion that we can have, and that is why we say that 1's complement or maybe 9's complement can be used to represent our negative numbers. Now when we talk about the 9's complement, then along with that we are going to get 10's complement. So what is the 10's complement? It says that first take the 9's complement, that add 1 to it. Then what will happen? For 125, 9's complement is your 874. So 10's complement will be your 875. Now you add 125 with your 875, then we are going to get 1000. So that means it is 0. So it says that if we are going to take 10's complement, then the 10's complement is going to represent exactly the negative numbers here, like 1's complement, but in 9's complement, but in case of 9's complement we have to add 1 to the result to get the exact result, but here it is not required because already we have added 1's to the 9's complement. So instead of 874 we are getting 875. Similarly in this your 2's complement, in this particular example I am getting 1010 as the 1's complement. So 2's complement will be your 1011. So this is the 2's complement of the given number 0101. So if I add this up, then what I am going to get? I am going to get result as 0 because I am working with a 4 bits number. So I have to ignore this particular 5th bit. So you just see in this particular case 2's complement can be used to represent the negative numbers. And this is the concept, because if after adding two numbers, if we are going to get the result 0, then we say that one is the negation of the other. This is a simple concept that we are using in our complements. So this is already I have explained about 1's complements and 10's complements, 9's complements, 2's complements. So this is basically just simply I am saying, so this is the circle we are using. If I am having a 4 bits number, then we are going to get combination 0s to 15, and again we are having the same problem in 1's complements. It will be 0 is not equal to minus 0. We are having two representation of zeros, and this is the basic system. So, if it is 1 is your 0 0 0 1, then negative 1 is your minus 1 1 1 0. Okay. This is the way that we can say this is the way. So, this is basically giving me positive and negative representation of those particular decimal numbers when we are using 1's complement form. So, how we are going to do 1's complement calculation? It is same. So, when we are using say these 3 numbers and we are having 4 bits numbers. So, 4 plus 3 we are getting 7, simply add it. So, minus 4 and minus 3. Now, you just see what is the 1's complements of your 4, 1 0 1 1, because 4 is your 0 1 0 0. So, 1 complements will be your 1 0 1 1. So, I am taking this 1's complement. Finally, we know that it should be equal to minus 7. Now, after adding it, I am getting 1 0 1 1 1. So, this is the carry out is coming into picture, but if I say 0 1 1 1 is going to give me plus 7. So, this carry out has to be added over here and carry around. So, I am going to get 1 0 0 0 and 1 0 0 is going to represent this minus 7. You just see this particular symbol, minus 7 is your 1 0 0 0. In this particular case here up to 7, then it will be minus 7. Okay. So, this is the way that we can say, and it is going to work with everything. Similarly, this 4 and minus 3. So, we are having an n carry. So, it has to be round around and I are going to get plus 1. Here I am getting minus 1. We do not have any n around carry. So, this is the exact result 1 1 1 0, which is nothing but the representation of negative 1 1 1 1 0. Okay. So, this is the way we have to look into it and we have to perform our calculation in this particular way. Now, similarly, 2's complement, already I have explained it how we are going to get 2's complement. So, in this particular case, the main advantage we are getting this, there is only one representation of 0. That means, now we can use 16 different symbols for this 16 different combination. So, in this particular case, what will happen? We are going to get one more negative numbers. So, in 1's complement, what is the range? It is minus 7 to plus 7. Okay. But in case of 2's complements, now my range will be minus 8 to plus 7. Okay. So, this is the way that we can say. Now, you see that if we are going to work with an n bit numbers, then what will be the range? This is minus 2 to the power n minus 1. So, this is your 4 bits number. So, this is your 2 to the power 4 minus 1 2 cube, 2 plus 2 to the power n minus 1 minus 1. So, this is 7 is nothing but 2 cube minus 1. So, this is the range that we are going to get when we work with a n bit number system. So, again the similar thing that we are representing with the help of this circle, that from 0 to 15, and now you just see that thing we are having only one representation of 0. So, here I do not have any symbol. So, we can use 8 for this symbol. We are going to say this is the minus 8, 1 0 0 0 1 is minus. Now, I am giving you one example or point to ponder. Basically, you just see when I am coming to 1 0 0 0, this particular combination, this is an extra combination we are getting. So, why we are saying that this is going to represent minus 8, not the plus 8. Okay. Just you think about it and try to give the proper reason why we say that this combination will represent minus 8 instead of plus 8. Now, 2's complement, already I have explained all those things. Now, it is saying that what is the numbers? Basically, it is 2 to the power n minus 1. Okay. So, this is if I am having 7, then n is 7, then in this particular case 2 to the power 4 is your 1 0 0 0. This is 1. So, I am, if after subtracting it, I am going to get 1 0 0 0 1. Okay. So, you just see here, addition of 1 is not coming into, because it is taking that maximum number with the help of 4 bits is your 1 1 1 1, but this formulation what we are saying, you add to 1, then I am going to get this is 1 0 0 0 0. That means instead of 4 bit I am taking the 5th bit actually. So, this is 2 to the power n minus n. So, it is going to give me 2's complement. Okay. But this equation can be again, I can reformulate it, I can say that 2 to the power n minus, I can say that 2 to the power n minus 1, I can say this is the maximum number that we are going to have, and then minus the given number actually. Okay. So, this is basically to the maximum number representation, already we have added 1. So, after subtraction we need not to add this particular one. So, already I have said either you add it or you add later on, or in your bitwise case you complement each bit, then add 1 to it to get the 2's complement number. Okay. So, already I have discussed about these things. So, now you just see that if I am going to give number, say any number 0 1 0 0 1 1, so if this is any random number I am giving, then what will happen? What is 1's complement? 1 0 1 1 0 0 1 1. Okay. Now, what is this is 1's complement? Are you sure? Yes, I think. Now, if I add 1 to it, then what I am get 1 0 1 1 0 1 0 0. This is your 2's complement. Okay. Now, here I can see, observe one thing, you just see, if this is the original number and this is the 2's complement. So, for 1's complement, observation is very simple, just every bits are flipped. If it is 0, we are making it 1, or if it is 1, then we are making it 0. But here also you can see some pattern. You just consider these 3 bits and these 3 bits. They are same with the given numbers. And here remaining bits, if you look into it, you will find that this is the complements of those particular bits. So, now when we can say that when we scan the number from the least significant bit from this side, the bits pattern will remain same until as unless we encounter the first one. So, 0 0 1, this is the first one that I have encountered in my given number 0 0 1. So, till that point it remains same, and after that you simply complement each bit. So, after that 1's become 0 and 0's become 1. So, by looking into bit pattern also we can always write the 2's complement. To writing the 1's complement is very simple, but by observing this thing you can say that we can write the 2's complement also by simply observing it without taking 1's complement and then adding 1 to it. Okay. Now, in one advantage that here we are going to get, when we are going to have addition and subtraction, in both the cases we can simply do it by adding the number. Say here 4 minus 3. So, basically what will happen, I can say that if it is 4 minus 3, if I am going to do it, I can say that this is nothing but 4 plus minus 3. So, this is the 4 representation and this is the representation of minus 3 in 2's complement, because you just see that plus 3 is 0 0 1 1. So, it will be your 1, this is the first one we encountered, then 0 1 1. Okay. So, 4 minus 3 is your 1. So, when I add these two number 1 0 0 0 1. So, we are working with 4 bits number. Finally, we are going to get this particular 4 numbers. We do not talk about this extra bit. So, you just see I am getting the result 1. Similarly, here also minus 4 plus 3 is going to give me minus 1. So, similarly, I am going to get this result. So, 1 1 1 1 will give me nothing but the representation of the -1. Okay. So, this is the way that we can think. Now, what will happen? Subtraction is becoming easy when we are going to use 2's complements number representation. In case of subtraction, we can simply use the addition of this particular addition operator. So, in this case, if carry in and sign carry out, then ignore the carry. Okay. If carry in is different from the carry out, then overflow. So, we will see what this overflow means. Okay. Here basically what it says, this is the generally what will happen, you see again 4 bits number where the sign magnitude or your 1's complement to 2's complement. This most significant bit is going to give us some indication about the sign. If 0 means positive, 1 means negative. This is 1A. So, when I add up these things, when carry will come to this particular point, and after adding and the carry may come out. Say in this particular case, when I am adding 1 and 1, then 0 and carry 1 is coming over here. Now, when I add these things 1 plus 1 0 and 1 plus 1 1, and it turns out to be carry out. This is the carry out of this particular sign bit. So, it says that if carry into the sign bit and carry out is same, then ignore it. In all those particular cases, I think this is same, we can ignore it. But if they differs, then we said this is an overflow condition. That means the result that we have got is not correct. That means instead of 1 1, if I get 1, this is 1 and this is 0, in that particular case we may get some wrong result. We will see these things. Okay. So, if they are different, then we can have overflow. So, this is same thing again, we are saying that numbers 3 number system, this is sign magnitude, this is 1's complement, this is 2's complement. Okay. So, this is the line where it differs positive integer and negative integer, or we can say that natural number and negative timeline. So, this is the way that we are representing it, or on the other hand in tabular form also we are representing it. So, basically here this is number system with only 3 bits. So, that is why I can go up to home -3 to +3. In the previous diagram it is 4 bits. Okay. Now, this is the condition of overflow. If two positive numbers to get a negative numbers, then we say it is an overflow. Now, here these are the 2 examples. It says that this is -8 and here I am going to get +7. Just take this simple example. So, -7 is going to give me 1 0 and -2 is going to give me So, if I add these 2 things, then what I should get? 1 1 1 0 1. So, this is I cannot consider, I am working with a 4 bits number. So, I am getting answer 7. So, whether we are going to accept this result, because I am adding -7 and -2, my result should be -9. Okay. And here I am adding 5 plus 3, I should get 8, but here it is turned out to be -8. So, in this particular case, you just see that when I am having 0 1 1, this is +7 basically. Okay. So, here I am not getting the correct result, and we said this is the overflow situation. Okay. So, how I am going to get it? So, now if I am going to add these things here, I am getting 0 as my carry in, and if after adding it, say this is 1 is the carry out. So, these 2 bit position are going to differ. So, with the help of these things, I can indicate whether I am going to get an overflow or not. In the previous slide, I think we talked about this issue only. So, if carry in differs from the carry out, then it is an overflow, but in this particular 4 cases, it is same always. So, we do not have the overflow. So, similar same scenario that we are explaining in both the cases minus 2 plus minus 3, what I should get? Minus 5. So, my result is turn out to be 3 only, because this is the 3 bits. So, you again say 0 plus 1, 1, 1 plus 0, 1 and 1, 10. Basically, it is carry out 0, and what is the carry in out over here? 0. So, they differs basically. Okay. So, this is the way that I can see here also you having. So, similar thing again, here we are saying that we cannot work with the infinite universe, but depending on these things we can work with a finite universe. So, that is why we are going to get this particular overflow scenario. So, this is the scenario that we are talking about. Now, when we are going to get overflow? When these two carry bits differ. So, here we are getting this overflow. When we are adding 5 and 3, we are getting 8, this thing. But when we add 5 and 2, 7, it is not an overflow. You just see these are the bit pattern where they are having something. Okay. So, this is the way that we can think about it. Now, how we are going to look into it? Now, you just said that I am having a digital circuit. Okay. So, here I am giving two numbers input A and B. Say this is the 4-bit information. That means I am giving A0, A1, A2, A3 and B0, B1, B2, B3, and I said that these are the output. Okay. I can say this is your output C. Okay. So, in this particular case what will happen? Now, you said that this circuit is knowing nothing but the adder circuit. Okay. So, I can say this is S0, S1, S2, S3 and say this is total CO, because one carry out is there. The way we are saying, say if I add these 4-bit numbers, finally this adding and that output carry will be there. Say this is the last one, which one I am having the output carry. Okay. So, in this particular case, now what will happen? I am having these things. That means I can say that S0, S1, S2, S3 and say this is my carry out. So, these are the information that we are going to get. Now, how we are going to identify that this is the correct result? Because you just see that we are implementing the adder circuit, we are adding these things, but always we are not going to get correct result, because in this situation we are having the overflow situation. Okay. We are adding 5 and 3, but we are getting negative 8. So, these are the overflow scenario. So, how to indicate it? By looking into this particular 2-bit position we can indicate it. So, here what will happen when I am going to look these things? Then already I said that I can have a circuit bitwise addition. Okay. So, that means we have already talked about some sort of full adder basically, and what I say that if these are the two input bits, say A2 and say B2, then it is going to give me S2 and it is going to give me one intermediate carry. This intermediate carry is coming as an input over here, and some carry will come from these things. Now, here I think that this is your A3, B3 and this is your say S3 and this is the final carry out that will come from here. Okay. So, now you just see, when I am saying how I am going to identify that whether I am getting a correct result or not, it depends on whatever result we are getting in these two signals. Okay. This is the position that we have said. This is the carry in to the sign bit and this is the carry out of this particular sign bit. If they are same, then we do not have any overflow. If they are different, then we are having an overflow. That means, with the help of these two signals, we can indicate whether we are getting an overflow or not. So, in this particular case, what will happen? I will take these two signals and going to use those two signals to indicate whether we are getting an overflow or not. So, in this particular case, if I simply use this particular gate. Now, what is this gate? This is exclusive OR. What is the behavior of exclusive OR? If both the inputs are different, then output is 1. Okay. This is the things when both the inputs are different, at that point my output is 1. So, that means these two inputs are coming over here, and if this particular circuit, we know that this circuit is having an exclusive OR gate, if it generates 1, then we can say whatever result I am getting in this particular circuit as 0, S1, S2, S3, this is not the correct one. Okay, we can interpret it. So, basically generally this is basically we talk about overflow bit. By looking into the overflow bit or by the result of the overflow bit, we can always indicate whether the output that we are getting from an adder circuit is correct or not. Okay. You just see, this is the way that we have to handle our information. Now, say you are working with a computer, we are giving some random input pattern and trying to add them together. Whatever result it is giving to me, how I will be assured that it is correct or not? Because already we have seen that while we are working with that fixed range, having a fixed bit of information, we may have that cases of overflow where the result is not correct. Now, how to give this information to the user? So, we can give this information to the user with the help of this particular overflow bit. So, we are having an overflow bit. If the overflow bit is 0, then we say that the result coming out from my adder circuit is correct, and if the overflow bit is 1, then we will say that the whatever result you are getting from the adder circuit is not correct. It is going beyond our range. Okay. So, this is the way we can think about it, and with this we have just completed about the number representation or integer number representation, but now we are going to see how we are going to represent the real numbers. Once you see about the integers, now I will just going to give you idea how we are going to represent real numbers, and after that we will come for all those addition, subtraction, etc. For that also we are having good predefined circuit. So, here in real numbers basically we are going to use number with decimal point or we say fractions. So, how generally do this thing? So, in binary we are represent the real numbers or such type of floating point number. So, if I am having say this particular representation with this particular dot, then what will happen? This is basically nothing but 2 to the power 4 plus 2 to the power 0 plus 2 to the power minus 1 plus 2 to the power minus 3. So, this is the after decimal, it is basically in the negative line. Okay. So, ultimately we are going to get 9.625. So, if I am giving a numbers 9.625, its binary representation will be your 1001.1010. Now, where is this binary point? So, for that we are having two way of doing it. One is your it is always fixed, and second one is your moving. It can during representation it can move it. Okay. So, this is the way. Now, I am going to say how we are going to represent real numbers. Okay. Just I will give some brief idea. So, for that we are going to have a format, and we said this is the floating point format. So, what is the breakup? Basically, if we are working with taking total 32 bits, in case of 32 bits, what will happen? It is having like that, one bit is used for indicating the sign bit, whether it is a sign positive number or negative number. Then 8 bits is going to keep for your exponent, and 23 bits are for significant or mantissa. Okay. So, this is the way that we can say. So, here this is the representation plus minus the your significant into to the power exponent. So, this is the way we can look for it. So, you just said how I am going to say this and your exponent part or mantissa part, and this is your exponent part, and this is the sign bit. So, here this point, decimal point is actually fixed between sign bit and the body of the mantissa actually. Okay, so this is significant or the mantissa. So this is decimal point is between this thing. So this is the position that we are having. So basically you can say that this is minus 0.375 into 2 to the power 7, maybe this is the representation. Then what will happen? This 0.375, that 375 will be, or 375 binary representation of 375 will kept in this particular significant part. This 7 will represent it as your bias exponent. It is not exactly 7, but some bias format we are going to keep. Then negative numbers, negative signs we are going to get in the very first point, and this decimal point we are not going to store anywhere. On the other hand, if we are having these things, basically we are representing the number minus 1 point decimal representation of these things into 2 to the power 7. So this is point is, though I am taking its floating point representation, but the decimal point is fixed always over here. So we never keep any information for this particular decimal point, and we always keep in a normalized form. That means always number is 1 point something. This one also we never store anywhere. Okay. So this is the way that we can think about it. So what will happen here? Mantissa is stored in 2's complement form. Okay, so this is basically, this is mantissa part we are going to store in 2's complement form, so that it will help us to do addition and addition. Exponent is in excess or bias notation. Okay, we will see what is that excess. So it is excess or bias, maybe 128 or maybe some other numbers also. It is an 8-bit exponent field. Pure value ranges from 0 to 255. Okay, but in case of your bias 128, we generally subtract 128 from this particular 225. So the range is going to get from minus 128 to 127. So here you just see that if I am going to say this exponent part, if I am going to store say 150, then what will happen? In case of bias 128 notation, I subtract 128, then what I am going to get? 22. Okay, then this 22 is the exponent part actually. So to represent exponent 22, we store 150 in your binary if it is your bias 128, but we may have bias 127 also, or we may use any numbers. Okay. So this is FPR usually normalized. Exponent is applied adjusted to the leading bits MSB of mantissa is 1. Okay, it is adjusted in such a way that mantissa is 1, means leading bit is 1. Okay, so basically 1 point something. Since it is always 1, there is no need to store it. So basically this is adjusted in such a way that it will always come like 1.1100 something like that. So this 1 need not to store anywhere, this 0 also we are not storing it. So this is the way we are going to use the normalization, and we are going to store the number. Okay. Now this is the simple example, just I am saying how we are going to represent it. Say if we are going to represent 1.638125. Okay. So this is we are going to represent, then what will happen? You can see that this 0.638125 is nothing but this part. Okay. You calculate it, and this is nothing but the exponent part. Okay. And this is the sign bit. That means you just see if I am going to use 1.1010011. So this is the things that I am going to use. Then what will happen? Into 2 to the power 100 these things, then what will happen? for this particular positive signs, we use this particular 0. This is the exponent mantissa part or significant part 1 0 1 0 0 0 1, okay, and this is the bias exponent part. This is your 1 0 1 0 0, 1 0 1 0 0. If I am having these things, then it basically mean 20, but for 20 what I am storing 1 0 0 1 0 0 1 1. So, 1 0 0 1 0 0 1 1. So, what I am getting over here? This is 1 2 4 8 16 32 64 128. So, 128 plus 16, what I am going to get, plus 19 basically. So, I am going to get 147. Okay. So, if from 147, but basically I want to store 20, that means if I subtract 127, then I am going to get 20. So, this is basically this exponent is stored in bias 127 format. So, whatever we stored, it is biased by a value of 127, always we need to subtract 127. So, basically now if this number we stored at 127, then if I subtract 127, then I am going to get 0, that means it will be 2 to the power 0. If I stored here 120, then 120 minus 127, then I am going to get this is minus 7. That means this exponent part will be your minus 7, like that this is your minus 20. Since it is minus 20, this representation is slightly different. Okay. So, this is the way we are going to represent our floating points number, and this is the way we are storing the floating point numbers or say real numbers in our computer. So, in this particular case, what are the ranges? You can try to calculate it. If we are using a 32-bit numbers, then using 8-bit exponents. So, this is basically we can go up to plus minus 2 to the power 127. So, this ranges will go up to 10 to the power 77. Okay, 1.5 into 10 to the power 77, up to that particular limit we can go. Okay. So, what is the accuracy? So, it depends what is the effect of changing the LSB in mantissa. Okay, that means if these get changes, say after calculation we cannot store everything. So, we approximate it. If this get changes, basically this will tell me about the accuracy of the number. So, in this particular case, it says that in case of your 23-bit mantissa, accuracy will be your 10 to the power minus 7. Okay. That means about 6 decimal places we can have the accuracy. So, now when we are working with devices, then what will happen? Different companies are going to build different computers. So, we need the standard. So, IEEE has given a standardization for implementing this particular or storing of floating point numbers, and they said this is your IEEE 754 formats, and they are giving two different formats. One is for 32 bits and second one is for 64 bits. So, we use 8 bits of exponent in case of 32 bits and we use 11 bits for as exponent in case of 64 bit representation. So, by looking into it, so here we are having 8 bit and 11 bit, and always we have 1 bit for my sign bit. So, basically this is the format that this is already we have discussed 23, 8 and 1. We said this is the single bit format, single format for IEEE 754, and we said this is the double format where we are going to have 11 bit of bias exponent and we are having 52 bits of mantissa or fraction part, or we can say that significant part. Now, since I am having now 11 bits over here, now we are having a bigger range, and since here instead of 23 bits I am having 52 bits, now we are going for more accuracy. Okay. So, this is the way just we can think about it. We are increasing the range, along with that we are increasing the accuracy also. So, we are having some other codes also. We can say this is access code. Today we have used it. We are having gray code. I think while we discuss about a Karnaugh map, I talked slightly about the gray code. we are having another one called BCD, binary coded decimal. I think most of you know it. It is basically we are having a digital conversion of digit wise of a decimal number. So, this is binary coded decimal. So, in this particular case, if I am having say 79, binary representation will be different and your BCD will be different. So, BCD, in case of BCD, we are going to have a binary code digit wise 7 and 9. So, for 7 it will be your 0 1 1 1, for 9 it will be your 1 0 0 1. So, this is the BCD representation of your 79, but decimal representation will be different. I am telling you, if you say that for 79 instead of BCD, if I am going to convert 79 to the binary, then this representation will be different one. This will not like this one. You can try it out. Okay. After all, already I have mentioned about that we have to represent the character also. So, we are giving a unique code to each and every character to represent it. So, we are having one code called ASCII, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So, for all symbols, say if it is A or whether it is dollar or whether it is plus, we assign a binary code, because it will be represented with the help of this binary code. Another one, we are having EBCDIC, Extended Binary Coded Decimal Interchange Code. Okay, this is another one. Now, the last one is coming as your Unicode. With the help of Unicode, it is trying to give a unique code to each and every symbol that exists in this particular world. Okay. Like that, say, if I talk about English alphabet A to Z, we are having a unique code. Now, if you take all the letters, all the alphabets of our Devanagari script, for everyone they are assigning one unique code. Like that, in Unicode, it is giving an unique code for each and every symbol of all the possible languages of this particular word. So, with the help of Unicode, we can now represent most of the information. So, this is the representation of our character. So, you just say what we are doing. We are working with 0 and 1, and to represent this 0 and 1 in our electronic system, we are representing it with low voltage and 1 is represented with high voltage, and with this symbol 0 and 1 we mapped it to binary number system, and we are working everything with binary number system in our digital world. Okay. I think with this I am going to conclude my lecture today. Thank you very much.